Welcome to Spill the Tea with Josephine. Today we're talking to David Marks, the author of Boomsters, An Unexpected Adventure. Hi, David. How are you?
That's a beautiful picture behind you. Where is it?
Actually, I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay.
But I've seen beaches like it, and I really like them.
And where are you now?
So I'm from southwestern Ontario in Canada.
I'm in Palm Springs now, and I
Sweet.
would say 30% of our population is from Canada. You know,
We
they
like the
like
warmth.
they like our sunshine. Uh,
Definitely.
yes, I'm David Marks. I wrote a book. I never designed to write. I was never intending to write a book. And the name of the book is Boomsters. We have to get you one so we can put it up there on top of your shelf. Have you read Boomsters?
I have not, but I read the bit of the write-up, and it sounds really interesting. And I have to say, I love your cover.
Well, thank you. That cover was done from my previous career, which I owned and left. And that's really the parallel about the book. I was a businessman, had lots of churning, lots of ideas, lots of excitement. I declared at 68 that I was going to retire at 70. 70 came along, and I said, I really don't want to retire. And my son said, who had been with me a long time, Dad, you're out. I tell everybody my son threw me out of the business. That's kind of a jovial way to say it. And then the next morning, I'm home and I have nothing to do. One day I'm a workaholic. The next day I'm sitting on the couch watching The New Price is Right, trying to figure out how I can be the one that wins the washing machine and dryer. So my mind was going. And I've always wanted to put a story together. I'm not an academic, so I never thought I could write a book. But I've always had this churning idea since of a storyline.
Yeah.
And it would be since 1987. I had 2 months between careers that I hung out in a health club. And in that health club, with nothing to do to keep my body in tune, but I wasn't keeping my mind in tune, I started looking at people and making them characters, all fictional. If this guy had gold chains, he was part of the mafia. If this one guy was lifting heavy weights, he was probably a bouncer. And this girl could be a mayor. And for those 2 months, I created a story.
You became a storyteller at heart.
Always a storyteller, but I created the story in my mind.
Takes.
Never put it on paper. And each time I made the character a little bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I went to work and never thought about it again. Now, sitting on my couch, I created the theory of why take this retiree and make him so mundane. Let's put some excitement into his life. Now, I have to mention one more thing, Josephine, if I may.
Sure.
When I was retiring from this business, my lawyer said to me, his name was Gary, he said, how do you feel you'll no longer be consequential? You'll be out there in this world, retired, not consequential. And that haunted my mind. What can I do to be consequential? And that morning, Boomsters, the morning that I was sitting home, 2 or 3 days after retirement, I said, I'm going to create this character based on all the stories I've collected through my 50-year career. I'm 76 years old right now. And the story is about a consequential character. So instead of in retirement, hanging around the house or just playing golf, although I have to confess I do play golf, there was more excitement in his life. And the character's name is Detective Blaze. It's fictional, but it represents the 10,000 retirees a day that are coming, baby boomers that are coming our way. That's what Boomsters is about. So
I I think that's a great way to showcase that, we are having a very large portion of our population heading into a new phase of their life. And it doesn't have to be like it's an ending in one way, but it is a beginning in another way of what they choose to do with the rest of their lives and how they're going to continue, right?
yes, yes, very much so, Josephine. Uh, the writing of Boomsters parallels what the detective work was done on Detective Blaze, meaning I had so much fun exercising my brain. What I'd like to do is encourage other retirees. Now, we're really, I can hook into all the retirees that watch this. We're really talking about that transitional time more so than when you get into retirement. If you were an auto mechanic and you're working on cars every day, and then all of a sudden you're not an auto mechanic, it's scary. It's very transitional. You don't know what to do
Hmm.
with your loved ones. You want to pretend you're happy, but you're not. You're in this frightened phase of your life. Ultimately, there is another side. Now, I have reached the other side, but the book was what took me, the writing of the book, not even the content. And by the way, the content is exciting. I encourage anybody to read it. Uh, but the content of the book is one thing, but the writing of the book was the other thing. So I encourage these people that are going through this it's not moment, this small time in their lives of this transition to find something they can do.
Hmm.
I barely made it through. I don't even remember going through college. So writing a book was insane. If somebody wants to play the trombone, and they couldn't do it. How about somebody that wants to be a great dancer? Take that particular period and fill that void. Eventually, you'll get to the other side, and retirement makes sense. Does that make sense to you, Josephine?
It does. It
Yeah,
does. It's finding new purpose and new goals and new pleasures in life.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And filling that space with not feeling sorry for yourself, because that's where the downhill slide starts.
Mm.
When you retire, you leave the house. Now you'll spend a whole bunch of time feeling sorry for yourself. What am I going to do? Turn on the TV and sit in the couch. Is what's going to do. What they're probably going to do. My suggestion is don't turn on the TV, um, and go for, if you can only do 2 miles, go for a 3 mile walk. Try to push your limits. Writing a book for me was pushing my limits. The book the book Boomsters is maybe even a piece of me. Who knows? All my fictional characters have something to do with the real character.
I think it's about testing yourself.
That would be a good yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the book itself, and I don't want to give too much away, is a mystery. And I won the biggest day, the greatest day in my new career, which is an author. I didn't want to die a trinket salesman. That's what I did. I created merchandise. I wanted something else on my tombstone. So now we're working on novelist. Sounds so good. I'll never achieve golfer. So it'll have to be novelist.
Well,
So
you're now a published author.
I am now a published author, and I'm sure you're familiar with Kirkus reviews.
A
It,
little bit.
all right, well, look that up, or have your listeners look that up. They gave me an incredible write-up. They said this book belongs as a Coen Brother movie, and I won first place in cozy mysteries with Book Fest, and the prize for winning cozy mysteries for Bookfest was my Boomsters was put on the NASDAQ sign
Oh, sweet.
in New York. So that was a Bookfest day, and I came in number one. And so am I selling a lot of books? No. New time authors, first time authors. How do they get out there? Well, that's not why. You're delightful, I can tell. If you ever come to this part of the woods, we'll go for one of those hikes. Um, the first time authors don't have a chance against the big boys.
It's
There's
a
a
lot
dominance.
harder. Yes.
Yes, yes. And I will say that if any of your readers buy Boomsters, all the money that they will spend on the book is going to help our senior war veterans. I
Oh,
am certainly
nice.
I'm certainly not doing this. I'm not doing this for money. I don't need
Hmm.
the money. I love the recognition. I love the excitement of talking to you. And I get if you go on boomsters.com, you'll see some of the things that has transpired. Is the book good? The book is great. It makes you think. Uh, it's it's exciting. It's a mystery. It's a who's done it. It introduces the Italian mafia, the Jewish war, Jewish gangsters, a crooked mayor, everything you can possibly think, and then you take this one plain guy who, at 70 years old wants to be a detective. Of course, no one's going to hire a 70-year-old detective, so he just kind of wants to play detective because when he was a little kid, he used to watch Superman and he used to
Hmm.
watch Magnum PI, and he wanted to just be like his idol. So he says, I'll play detective. But he's always, Detective Blaze is always in the right place at the right time uh, to that all this happened. So it's happening to him. Why is it happening to him? Who's giving him the gift of life that all of a sudden everything he ever dreamt of as a little boy, as Dick Tracy or whoever, is coming to be at a 70-year-old man that retired and was bored sitting on a couch. So you're going to love it, I promise you.
So where is the book set?
Chicago,
So so
which
why
is
did
what
you
I'm,
choose?
which is where I'm from, and
Oh, okay.
I spent 70 years there, and I'm most familiar with it. The cover of the book that you're referencing
Hmm.
is the backdrop of Chicago.
Oh, the actual city line.
That's the city line. And
Cool.
the guy with the little detective hat, that's Detective Blaze. And have you been to Chicago?
I have not. It's actually very close by, and yet I haven't been.
Yeah, oh, well, come on by. Well, I won't be there. I'm here, but I will be there in the summer. It gets very hot in California, in Palm Springs. The uh, the kind of crime that the book embraces is
Mhm.
crime of the past, more of the Al Capone era. Even though I'm
Okay.
doing it in this era, we're not talking about what you know of crime today in Chicago when you're reading the newspapers. It's more, I guess you would call it, you can't compliment anything, but I guess you would call it more sophisticated crime.
Hmm.
Well, where we're dealing with the mafia, and we're dealing with the Italians, we're dealing with the underworld in a different crime setting. Uh,
Okay.
you know,
So it's a bit nostalgia fictionalized in there.
but brought up to date because that's where so I don't know what is the demographics of your following? What are they age appropriate to?
For my following, I'd say I have a lot of romance, and then I have a lot of cozy mystery following. And the cozy mystery, they enjoy kind of a wide spectrum because they're really, really voracious readers, right? So
Mhm.
anything that's a mystery, a large part of them are very, they just enjoy it and they're looking to find new books and new leads. So yeah, that's why I'm always talking to different authors like you.
You have a nice smile. Uh, the well, here's Boomsters. You were talking about the cover. Can we see it?
Yes. It
There's
is a
Boomster.
beautiful cover.
Yeah, no, this was done in house from my past. There we go. That's
So
nice.
were you in like graphic design or what were
Yeah,
you in?
well, we designed packaging for our items that were more trinkets. If it was a back scratcher or
Mhm.
the Christmas tree lights that light up when you celebrating Christmas, that was mine. All these little things that we creatively made. The name of the company is DM Merchandising.
Oh,
You
cool.
can see it online and see the type of merchandise. although I'm totally not involved. I was thrown out. Uh, just joking. Yeah, I don't want to buy it, but I was told at 70, and it was the best thing that can happen to me. I was time to change careers uh, from uh, from working to author and now retiree. Do
Hmm.
I have it in me to write another book? I think so. I think it'll be a little, this was a 4 year journey that kept me busy. And every morning I'd wake up and write my book on my iPhone notes. I never learned how to type. My generation, we didn't have the computers and we didn't type as fluently. So I started there, and then my significant other, my life partner, Mary,
Hmm.
would help me through getting it on paper. And then I had a publicist, not a publicist, an editor who took my book down from 675 pages to 533 pages. Uh, I will recommend, again, I don't know who you're following, but I would recommend every one of them buy the book. Going to the war veterans, they're going to enjoy it. But if you have younger ones, Mother's Day and Father's Day is coming.
Gifts. Gifts are good.
The Boomsters is the ideal gift because there's a big story associated with this. And anybody between the ages of 50 that would be looking forward to looking to retirement, and anybody that's going to be retired any moment or has retired is just going to eat this up. And that could be your father, your uncle. Your Uncle Louis would love Boomsters. Your Uncle Louis would now remember who you are. Uh,
I have a brother. He loves mystery books, so I might just have to get him a copy.
I'll get him a copy, and then go borrow his. I'm sending
Oh,
you a
oh, we
copy.
borrow.
So email me. As you can see, can you see back here? Yeah, I can't see
Yeah, a
myself.
little bit. I can
I'm
see
my
some
best
pictures
customer.
and
I'm
your
my
books
best
in the back.
customer. This one is yours, Josephine.
Oh, he's got it picked
So
out.
send it to me. What the address will be, and you'll have it. Uh, and part of my joy of this whole journey is doing what we're doing right now, promoting my book. I did a few book clubs. I have a member of a club here. I'll be doing theirs, uh, hopefully, and just meeting people. And I haven't done any signings yet. Maybe I can do that.
You
I'm
should.
looking. I can't. I don't want to confess it, but you probably have it in your closet too. I go on TikTok once in a while. Is this a TikTok?
No,
Is
this one's
this
going to be on YouTube.
YouTube? Okay. I
Yeah.
don't go on YouTube actually. Now I will, but I go on TikTok to see what people are saying about retirement. So I'm going to try to get some of that as well. And
Hmm.
and if anybody goes on boomsters.com, they can communicate with me, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. I don't want to give too much of the book away, so I'm not talking about content, but I, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to read between the lines as well.
And are you thinking of doing more books with this character or just leaving it
It,
as a standalone?
well, as you read it, it kind of it would make a great 9 night series on Netflix for sure. And that and would it leave open? How many of these do you watch on Netflix? And you say, is there going to be another year? Well, it leaves this open that there would be another year. And as I said before, I don't know if I have it in me, but every day I get motivated and a new story is developing. So it'll be like looking for oil. Oil is going to gush out, and I'm going to have to write this book. Probably won't take me 4 years this time. It'll take me two. And I understand you write books.
Yes. So I write the Camping Girl Cozy Mystery series. I'm
Hmm.
starting a new cozy mystery series called Autumn Heights. So
Hmm.
that one's going to be a little bit, it's going to be shorter because there's going to be novellas rather than full-length books. It's kind of a mystery town where it's always autumn, and why, we don't know. But we'll find out eventually. And then I have a series of romance books that I write, and they're about the Ramsleys and their kind of overarching mystery in the background there because this family, unfortunately, their parents kind of did some money laundering in the background. They have to figure out how to fix that.
Ah,
And it's a 10 book series so far.
so
So
you're busy.
it's busy.
And how do you promote your book?
So I do a lot of advertising through different free booksy, ENT, um, romance readers, things like that. I do a lot of little interviews like this. I have a little following on YouTube now where I read my audiobooks out loud. And I believe yours is also on audiobook, right?
Audiobook. I have a
Yeah.
great reader. Do you do your own reading?
I do my own reading. So I
Well,
narrate my own books.
yeah, I have a wonderful reader, BJ Harrison
Oh,
is his
nice.
name, and he's done. I had to wait for him because what I like about BJ is that he reads as the character. He's not a
Mm,
flat reader, so somehow it's like watching a movie. Somehow he plays the women's role. Every person has a different voice. Magic
nice.
compliments to him.
That takes talent.
That takes talent.
It definitely does. Yeah.
So when I send you my book, you send me your book, and maybe somebody else out there, if they're not, well, then put me on again and I'll critique your book.
There we go.
I'll make a deal with you right now. You critique my book, read it. It's 533 pages. If you get past the 100 pages, you'll be addicted. And I'll read your book, and then we'll go back on together
And
and
see what each
critique
other
each other.
thought.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a good idea to read somebody's book. I don't read that much, by the way. I'll read yours. Send me your favorite one. Uh, communicate with me your address, and and you send me yours, and then retake me, and it'll only be about your book.
Sure. Sure. Let's do it. It'll be
Let's
fun.
let's make a deal. So because we're both out there for the same reason, and as I mentioned, I'm doing this all for charity. I've given
Mhm.
a lot of money to our veterans, and those are they're listening to yours. If they if go on Amazon reviews. I don't have a lot of them, but the ones that are on there uh, are all 5 stars, and they're all saying nice things. So, and I think that there's a lot more. I don't even know how many books are out there, but I think a lot of people don't rate on Amazon. Uh,
Yeah.
I think one
That's
out of 100 because I know other people and they just don't do it. So,
a lot of
but
people don't put in reviews at all. So when you get somebody who's dedicated to writing something down and saying something nice, they really mean it.
yes, yes, and my reviews have been wonderful, and it's mostly people that relate to what's going on. This transition in life. The Yeah, I'm excited about you reading it. I'm excited about meeting you. And any other questions on my book?
Um,
Boomsters.
well, I think, I mean, obviously you don't want to give too much away, but let's maybe go over like the inciting incident. So like what happens that draws him into the mystery, just so that readers are aware, and then we'll leave it unsolved from there.
Well, we'll call it circumstances,
Yeah.
and we'll call it being at the right place at the right time. Now, since way back when I had these 2 months of nothing to do and sitting in a health club, one of the gifts I had was the gift of observation. I would look at people and watch their mannerisms. Maybe it was because I was a salesman above everything else. I was a business owner, but a salesman, and that's how you to see how they're reacting. And as I'm creating these characters, I'm creating something larger. So the circumstances brings a detective, and it begins in a health club. So there's a crime that happens. There's a crime that happens, but that crime is big, and we want to know who did it, and you have to, as a reader, who did it. But it's hosting of other, or the bringing in of other characters, that this crime had to happen because it was on so many people's agenda.
Oh, wow.
And so you do have two kinds of mafias. You have the mayor, you have the chief of police, everything is brought together. And that's what I really loved about this book. I love the fact that I took all the characters, and you will say as you're reading page 212, well, why is this person here? You see it
Hmm.
sometimes in movies and other books. Why is this person here? And at the end of the day, the end of the book, as you go, and you have to read it to the last word, Josephine, uh, all the characters are brought together.
So
So there's a reason for their existence.
it's like the kind of the spider web theory, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes,
you see the
exactly.
outside, but until you tie it all into the middle, you don't know how it fits.
Yes, right. Yes. So there,
Yeah.
you're pulling stories, and you're pulling and then it's asking again, it's asking the reader as much as telling the reader. You'll
Hmm.
see what that means as you read it. Uh, somebody the other day, I was playing golf, not well. That's why I can't put golfer. It has to be not. What did you call me? I'm not a novelist. I'm a published author.
Published author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to use that one now. Published author. I'm a published author. He says, "Are you David Marks?" I says, "Yes." He says, "I'm two-thirds through your book. I'm loving it." So,
Good.
that made my day. The golf didn't make, I could have a hole in one. It wouldn't have been as exciting as some random person saying that. So that's why
It
you're doing it, Josephine. That's why I'm doing it. We want to show the world that we have this creative.
it is a lot of fun when somebody like you barely know or even don't know at all, and they come up and they're like, "I've read your book," and it's like, "Oh, okay." Like, that's great. What did you like about it? Or what did you
Yeah,
hate
once they
about
read
it?
it, then you
Tell
can
tell
really
me
talk.
about it.
That's why you need to read it. I'm going to read your best, and what you have going for you that I don't have going for me is I can get a second one and a third one. Uh, I only have one book. You have several. It sounds like.
Yeah, but
Uh,
your book sounds like it's longer. So I'm gonna have more, right? More
oh, there you
story,
go.
more meat.
So let's have one of these interviews. I promise the audience we're going to do this again, and we're going to critique each other's books. And then that one, I'm going to bring my sub character, Mary, will be in there because she's an avid reader. I'm not an avid reader, and she's going to critique the books at the same time. So on our emails, which we have, let's share
Yeah.
addresses, and we'll get you a signed copy of Boomsters, and I think chapter 2 of this video will be very informative to those people who are watching. And if you're watching and have a friend, bring them in. Josephine looks like she would encourage and embrace new followers.
Oh, we always do. We always
How do
do.
I get to see what we just did on YouTube?
I will send you the link,
Oh, wonderful.
and I'll let you know when I've got the release date up so that you can watch it. Just anybody else can watch it. And for everybody who is watching, I'm going to have David's website and the link to his book on Amazon right in the description so they can go and find it and support this lovely cause that he has and, find a new character to enjoy and love.
Well, thank you, Josephine. I think we will talk again. This has been fun.
It has been a lot of fun. Yes,
This is why
absolutely.
we do what we're doing. And so
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
we'll talk again. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.